I hate to tell you this, but Affinity is done with you. Okay, they're probably not done with you so much as they are done with giving away their software for 50% off because they have finally decided that, you know what, you guys have had enough time to get your hands on the software for that low price. They're going back up to their regular price, and at the end of June. Haven't done anything about that yet. You've been telling yourself you want to download the app. Well, now is the time. You have exactly, well, I don't know how many days since you're going to watch this. You have till June 30th. Before they do that, I want to present a list of demands of what I'd like to see in the next version of Affinity Photo. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave Connery. I'm an artist and a designer based in Southern California, and I have been using the Affinity apps for almost 2 years now. Let's say a little over 20 months, and I have been mostly satisfied. There are a few things that I believe Affinity could do better. The one program that I probably use the most is Affinity Photo, and I believe that that program is pretty awesome. It's pretty rad, and I would put it up against Photoshop every day of the week. Does it do everything that Photoshop does? No. Can it do everything Photoshop does at some point? I hope, but let's talk about those things. What would I expect from the next rollout? By the way, if you're more interested in Affinity Designer, you want to know my thoughts on that, I got that video right there. But today, let's actually talk about photo because I think, well, really, my list of demands is much higher on photo than it is on the others. Here's my list. This is my Affinity Designer, this is my Affinity Publisher, and then this is my list of Affinity Photo stuff. Presenting these in no particular order. They're all important. Some may be more important to others depending on who you are and what kind of work you do, but this is my list. First would be the filters. I believe that Affinity Photo has a really good set of filters, but there are some that just don't make any sense to me at all. The first one would be pinch and punch. If I go into this, it's you click on a section, look, if you see that little line right there, you see that little line underneath my cursor, that basically is going to tell you where you start. So if I already had, like, let's say I just wanted to apply this. If I click that, right, it's going to apply it wherever I want it. Click and hold, it'll tell it. But my thing is that it really doesn't push it very far. Like, I want it to push further. Like, can I push it further than that? Now, sure, I could probably go in and reapply and all that, but I would really like it to I would like it to have more range. Another one is ripple. It's like, I don't want this. This is cool. It's cool for some sort of distortion, but what I really want is to have I don't want it to be circular. I want it to ripple in different directions. I want to be able to choose where the ripple goes. I want it to have like some sort of wave pattern. The ripple and wave stuff in Photoshop is way more advanced than this. This is cool. I kind of dig it, but I just want more control. Spherical is also, it's very similar to ripple in this respect, or not ripple. It's very like the pinch and punch. You know, it's cool, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it could be cooler. I mean, I do like that, but I feel like it's limited to a certain respect. I just wish it had a little bit more control and that I could do more things. I would like to have more lighting control. I would like to have more artistic filters, and I would also like to have better 3D, because, you know, the regular 3D that you get in the FX here, if I click that, let's go to 3D, and I just do stuff with this, it's like, it's not really, I mean, it's not gonna do much for me on this particular image. It's not really, I feel like I'm not even getting anything out of this. Now, of course, it's probably more applied to shapes and whatnot, and this is not necessarily the best image to be choosing from. What I really want is to be able to kind of extrude some sort of three-dimensional shape out of this, but there's just no functionality there for that. Another big one for me would be brushes, and specifically pattern brushes, because I want to be able to create like textures and turn those into brushes, but what happens is that if, like, let's say I create a halftone pattern brush, and I put that, in fact, I have one here. So I have this halftone brush, which I think is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool halftone brush, but it doesn't really do what I want it to. What I would like is to be able to paint a halftone pattern across this. And this is it's just like painting over it. It's like richening it up, and I don't want that. I want it to kind of fill the same space. I want that to be filled the same every time I click on it, because that's based on the pattern, and I don't have that functionality. I'm gonna stop right here and say, if there's parts of this that I'm missing that maybe I just don't know about, and like, I've experimented quite a bit on this stuff, and maybe I'm just like not looking at it from the right perspective, or I just haven't learned the right thing. If there's anything that I get wrong, please do me a favor, go down in the comments and let me know, because I will eat my hat. I will eat my words and my hat on that. And Affinity, if you're paying attention, please school me. Send me to school. I'll be a good student, I promise. I'd also like to have more text support, like more text options. Like I don't have any way of typing downward, like vertically. I don't have any way of putting text on a curve inside Photo. I can do it in Affinity Designer, but I can't do it in Photo, and that's a little frustrating. I work with type a lot in Photo, and I would like to have just a little bit more control on that. Let's talk about adjustment layers for a second. I love the adjustment layers. I love the flexibility of all the adjustment layers. I just wish that I could export my sets. Yeah, I can create presets of my adjustment layers, but I can't export them. If we look at my assets here, and then these are technically not my assets, these are Clam Nuts Bob's assets. Such a weird name. Bob, sorry. But these are his assets that I've downloaded, and I could export these if I want. Or if I create my own, I could export these. The styles palette, I can create all my own styles, and I can export those styles so that maybe I might be able to provide them for other people. But the one thing I cannot do is I cannot create different types of adjustments and then export those things. For instance, we got this cute doggo right here. Let's say I want to add a gradient map to him. And this is the standard one, which is ugly as sin. And that one and that one. I created this one and called it 2019 memes because if you were a designer, you know that those were the color palettes of all the 2019 stuff. Or I've got this one here. And this is cool, and I could, if I wanted to change that up, if I wanted to make this, see, let's reverse it out, and let's make this one green, and then, oh, we already had that. That was ugly. Oh, so ugly. But make that one white, and then we got this green and blue doggo. If I wanted to make a preset of that, I just hit preset, and I could do, let's just say test 3, because that's where I'm at. So I've got it here, right? I can switch back and forth, and it's cool. But I can't export this. I can't share. I can't do anything about this. I can't send this someplace else. I can't give it, like put it in a folder just for myself, and then in the future come back and come get it. I can do that with assets. I can do that with styles. I can't do it with the adjustments, and I would really like to be able to do that. One of the reasons I would like to be able to do that is so that I can create all kinds of different gradient maps or all kinds of different threshold styles or all of these different things. I could create these and then maybe have a pack that I can give to other people, either as freebies or maybe for download for purchase or whatever. But I don't have that flexibility. I can do that in Adobe Photoshop, but I can't do it in Affinity Photo. I personally don't use a whole lot of raw imagery. I don't work in raw imagery, but I know that a lot of people do work in raw imagery. And yes, Affinity Photo does have raw imagery support, but it's not anywhere close to being as strong as, let's say, Adobe Lightroom. Photographers are not going to switch over to Affinity Photo if they don't have the type of support that a Lightroom will give them. Lightroom is just superior. That's something that might come down the road a ways because it's very complex and, you know, there's a lot of details there. So that's, maybe it's a separate app. I don't know. But, you know, when I do these videos, everybody says, well, does Affinity have a Lightroom alternative? No, it does not. Not right now, but could. Soon enough. We'll see. One of the things that I shared in my last video about Affinity Designer is that there is no animated GIF support. And that is true here in Photo as well. GIFs are a thing. They're very popular and they're not going away anytime soon, and I would love to be able to turn some of my art into an animated GIF. I don't know the complexity of doing that within Affinity Photo because you're adding like this whole new dimension to things, like the time and space situation, right? You need a timeline, you need to be able to have some way to manage all that, you know, like, so it's, I understand that it's not easy, but it's one of the things that I would really like to have, and I'm sure plenty of people would like to have it too. Something I think that Affinity doesn't do that they could do really easily is do more advanced level tutorials here on YouTube. I love their YouTube channel, and I have dove into plenty of their videos trying to figure out how to do certain things within the apps, but those videos only seem to go just at the beginner level or just maybe intermediate level. They don't ever go super deep on how to do things. One of the things that I would really like to know more about is brushes, because it's easy to make a brush in Affinity Photo. It's easy to make a brush in Affinity Designer, but it's not really easy to make a just superior brush, because you need to understand all the different elements that go into brush making. And it's not just about tweaking the jitter and the size and all that stuff. It's about adding the other textures that go with it. If you've ever looked at a really great brush and all of the other things that go into that, let me show you. Instead of me talking about it, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Where did I see that? Oh, it's in these ones. It's in these Eleni Debo. I think she was she was definitely doing tutorials on there. But if you go in her work, she's got all kinds of things going on. She's got different textures like this. She's got all these sub brushes happening. And all of these have some significance. And I've had to go in and experiment for this myself just to try and figure out, like, what exactly does all of this do? And I can't say for sure that I honestly know. But if I go to the Affinity YouTube channel to dig deeper into that, they don't have anything like it. They don't have anywhere close to like the information needed to understand this. So it's really just one of these things where maybe they just expect us to just experiment and play and try and figure it out on our own. Maybe they really honestly expect the community to create these videos rather than them doing them itself. And I don't think that that's necessarily cool. I mean, yeah, I think all these people have better things to do. They're trying to make the apps better, and they're trying to do their work over there at Affinity. But, you know, it'd be cool if, you know, once in a while you threw a really good deep dive into something like that. That's not necessarily anything to do with the rollout of the next version, but I think it would be cool to see on Affinity's YouTube channel for sure. And finally, and I mentioned this one in the last video as well, the last most important thing that I believe that Affinity Photo must have for the next version, Studio Link. Again, for anybody who's not familiar with Studio Link, if I'm over here on Affinity Publisher, I am currently in the Publisher persona. But if I switch here, I go to the Designer persona where I have full-fledged access to anything that Designer can do. And then if I switch here to the Photo persona, I think I have 99% of all the things that Photo can do on its own. And I don't have to leave the app. If I'm working in Designer and I need to go over to Photo to edit this because the Photo persona doesn't quite have all the flexibility or functionality that I need, so I need to go over to Photo to do something to this image back here. So I have to go to File and then go Edit in Photo, and then it will take me over there, and then it closes this one and I have to go back and forth. And it's fine, it works okay, but it's just the jumping back and forth. When I'm here in Publisher, I don't have to do that. It's right there. I do it all without ever leaving the app. And so Studio Link is definitely something I believe probably will make it into the other two apps. But if they're not thinking about it, Affinity, please do that, because it would make it so much easier. The link should be everywhere, not just in Publisher. And that is pretty much it. Those are the things that I would really like to see in the next version of Affinity Photo. And if there's anything that I missed that you think should go in there, please go down to the comments and drop a little note in there. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the like button. And if everybody in the world hits the like button, I'll even do one on Affinity Publisher, which I'm probably actually going to do anyway. But I just want you to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell button because you never want to miss a thing. Let me tell you something. If you purchase now, you're going to be getting in at a fantastic deal. $25 for each app, $75 for the whole lot. I mean, you can't beat it. Do they need to grow up a little bit more? Sure, absolutely. I believe that they do, and I think that they are working on those things. Will all the things that I talked about today get implemented? Probably not. But will some of those get implemented? Sure. The big question that a lot of people are going to ask me, like, yeah, well, will there be an upgrade fee? It's like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Usually when you have a major version, like going from 1 point whatever to 2.0, there usually is an upgrade fee. But even if you got in at $25 right now and then had to pay another $25 later, I mean, so you're paying full price for the app altogether and you're getting everything. But there's another side of this that's interesting to me that I'm not 100% sure how it's going to play out. Because if you have Designer and Photo on your iPad and you bought them through the Apple Store, there's probably not going to be an upgrade fee. I've never seen an app have an upgrade fee on the App Store. I could be wrong about that, but I've never seen it happen. You don't have to have an upgrade fee for the new version when it hits the App Store. Will there be an upgrade fee if you have the desktop version? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it's a chin scratcher, to say the least. Again, I'm not an insider. I don't have any inside information whatsoever. This is merely the speculation and hypothesis of a seasoned professional who's been down this road many times with other different apps, and, it could happen. It could happen. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to go start making my other video on Affinity Publisher, because that one we need to talk about too. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you. Be good today. Be even better tomorrow. See ya. Oh, these are for you. Go watch those.